Okay, I'm back for another episode of my devlog. I think this is going to be the seventh devlog at this point for a gacha incremental game. I'm just going to jump into loading the prototype that I have so far and play through it. So basically, most of the work that I've done since the last build was integrating some narrative into the game. So as you play through the game, there's going to be some text pop-ups here to sort of tutorialize some of the elements of the game and provide color and context around the story of why you're actually playing this gacha and why you're collecting everything, right? So I'm going to have narrative interspersed throughout this prototype. Um, and some of the newer elements that I've added are additional gacha banners and different regions for you to play with. Each region is going to have a unique type of resource, unique characters. I think in the last video, I did show the quest system working. It's a little more fully featured now with adding and removing heroes from the quest, and each region is going to have its own quests. Um, and I've got the early parts of the prize shop working. So just you'll see as I play through, I'm going to be unlocking each of these game systems for you to see. Okay, so we're just jumping in here and start grinding stardust and forging star crystals. Very simple start to the game here. You can see the speed of the game is going a lot faster than I intended. I'm not sure why that is, but in this compiled version of the game, outside of Godot, it's running a lot faster with this delay cooldown that I have. Usually it's about half a second cooldown, but this, I think we're hitting about 4 to 5 stardust per second. It's a lot faster than I intended for like the very beginning of the game, but I think it's a comfortable spot to land on for the middle section of the game. It feels really nice to have stardust grinding away at this really fast speed. So let's just go through and get our star crystals and pull a 10 gacha and start getting rewards. So first thing I did there is open a couple of gachas and I got gold. A little bit lucky here, got a 5 gold drop, which gives me an upgrade. And then it revealed the transmutation system up here in the top left, and it revealed the upgrades which allow me to speed up my progress. We're just gonna tap around, do more grinding, and try to get a hero. I am considering tutorializing this early part of the game so that the first 10 pull a player gets as part of like a new player limited time banner. A lot of the games will do this and give you a hero, like a guaranteed hero, in that first 10 pull. And I think that might be a nice addition to this game, a nice way to get people started in the game. Because if your luck isn't that good, as my luck isn't that good right now, you can see I'm not really getting that much value out of my gachas. And without a hero, I can't really interact with interesting systems yet. And if you look at the top left, there's a little timer going. We're nearing the 5-minute mark with 2 upgrades purchased and no hero. I usually expect on average to get a hero around the fourth or fifth 10 pull. So let's give it another 2 tries. We do have a good number of gold here. We have some gold to transmute here as well. Looks like that gold value isn't updating properly. That's all right. 20 gold we can buy. Let's buy pity, which gives us a little higher chance of getting the 5-star reward. They're still looking at slightly poor luck this run. Let's give it another 10 pull and see what happens. All right, so there it was. Around the 50th pull, we were able to get a hero. In total, that took about 360 or so seconds. And as you can see, in that time period, there were a couple of lulls in the gameplay, which are going to be key moments that I'm going to have to look at to see how I can really enhance that the first introduction to the game. So now with the hero, looks like I got Maria. The heroes unlocks the hero list on the top left, and also this questing system on the right. So since we have enough gold, I'm just going to go ahead and buy that. It gives me a little bit, few more lines of narrative. And then once I have the quest unlock, there's a prize shop that appears in the bottom left. This one's quite a bit more expensive, and the feature isn't fully built out yet. So I'm not going to click into that quite yet. I'm just going to start assigning and playing around the quest system. And we're nearing the 3% mark for our 5-star rate here. Still early game. I would say around the 8% mark is when we start seeing like substantial results from our pulls. Because with the around 8 to 10% is where we're going to see on average 1 hero per 10 pull gacha. So let's go ahead and do a couple more of these 10 pulls. Try to fill out our hero roster. We did not get anything good that round. Another 10 pull. And we're slowly ranking up our gacha EXP. So we're kind of mastering this specific banner with every pull. And that's boosting our 5-star rate. I think this connection here needs to be made a little more obvious, that the rank 8, given that we pulled so many times, this rank going up slowly increases our chance of getting the 5-star. Okay, do we have any good luck? Still no. We did get a lot of gold around, so I'm gonna upgrade the grinder so that we can gather stardust more quickly. We're nearing the 10-minute mark here with only 1 hero. I would say that's slow progression. Okay, we're at the 10-minute mark. Our second hero. I'm gonna unlock a quest and assign them. And I'm saying it's slow in the sense that there's not much going on the screen and not much going on in the game right now. We're kind of repeating the same action, but still stuck in the same early game where we're not making much progress with every pool, we are increasing our rate of 5-star and starting to see more 5-stars appear. Um, but you can imagine in the fully finished game, in the polished version, there's going to be a lot more interesting visual elements on the screen that we can play with to make these sort of routine activities interesting, even if they're just simple and routine. So at this 10-minute mark, we have 3 heroes, and they're all level 1. I want to do a short demonstration of getting to a level 2 hero, but we haven't seen anything yet. So once I am able to get a level 2 hero, you're going to see these quests are going to progress faster than normal. So they're currently progressing at a rate of 16 seconds for completion. And once we get a hero to level up, okay, we got Jean to level up here. You're going to see once she completes this quest and it resets, it's going to start at a lower number. So now she's completing that one in 14 seconds, or roughly. And that's speeding up the progress, speeding up the grind via these heroes. Okay, she's level 3, Johan's level 2. Let's look at how quickly Jean runs these quests here. It's about 11 to 12 seconds. Alright, and once we get enough heroes, get enough progress, we can go ahead and unlock the 5th quest. And here's the narrative here. We've unlocked all the quests in this region. To find more heroes, we'll have to switch regions with these arrows. Some other elements also appeared on the screen here. This is a research idea that I'm working on. I want to have research unlocked around this time so the player can start spending the gold that I've accumulated. You can see here I have 77 gold, but spending on one of these upgrades is kind of like a marginal increase to the speed that I play the game. All right, 1 additional stardust per click, or clicking faster isn't going to do much. But if we have a substantial, exponentially growing research unlock that can really boost the game and make something happen more quickly, that's going to be a big kind of step up improvement in the speed that the game is going at and the game feel. So my idea here is to have 1 or 2 researches in this 50 gold range, 50 to 100 gold range, that will make the game feel substantially fresh around this 10-minute mark. I'm also thinking of increasing or switching the way the prize shop system works, because 50 gold here, it's kind of early, and I'm really hesitating to click on that because there's not much interesting there anyway. It's the prizes are really going to be a gold sink, and this early in the game we don't have enough gold income to make that an interesting system. So let's just focus on playing these regions. So I'm gonna switch over to the fandom region. These are all tentative names, and move our heroes, unassign them here, move our heroes over to this region to help me grind this resource a little more quickly. And since we have some gold saved up here, I'm going to speed up our progression by buying the upgrades. Okay, so we can do a 10 pull in this region. It's going to be a bit iffy because we're starting at rank 1. Chance of 5 stars lower than what we have in Linnea. But we can, let's try another 10 pull in this region because we're at 6%. Okay, got another level up. It's useful, but it's not really demonstrating the full collection of heroes. We have five heroes per region, and I kind of want to show like a full hero collection, but that would take a bit more time than I have for this video. So let's just focus on demonstrating finding a hero in the second region. The quest system is fairly simple right now. You only get the basic resource. So in this case, we're getting a paper from our heroes, but I'm planning to extend that so that we have quests that work for higher tier recipes and also quests that require multiple heroes to activate. I think that would be able to make the questing system a bit more interesting to interact with. It's very one-dimensional now because there's not much choice that you have around quest variety. Okay, so I know my goal here is to try to get another hero. The chances of getting the hero feels a bit low, I would say, while I'm playing through this. Of course, I have no control over the luck, but that's what the game is going to be about, right? Controlling over the luck that we have when pulling gotchas. So there we go, we got a hero. So definitely a key point in the work that I have going forward is to try to make it so that player feels like they have a little more control over the luck that they have in the game. Of course, we don't want it to be too easy to get heroes. We definitely want like ultra rare, ultra legendary, or higher than legendary rarities. So those are so that we have like stretch goals for the players to go for. But at the same time, I don't want to have player. I don't really want to have players always feel stuck having 0 heroes from a region. So that'll be something to work through in the design. So now that we have Garcia, I'm just gonna demonstrate that we can assign this hero to this quest, or even like let's say go to the next region and assign them there to help me accelerate my progress in a different region. So the idea around the system is that players are going to have a bunch of different hero resources in hand that they can choose how to allocate towards the different systems in the game. And depending on how they allocate them, that will affect which game system they will sort of make focused progress towards, right? So if the player, so we have to set it up in a way that players incentivized to move resources from one region to another or from one system to another. Okay, that basically concludes my demonstration. I'm gonna open the prize shop here just to show quickly how this works. But we've basically gone through most all of the things that we have in this version of the prototype. Constellations for showing purposes only, it's not actually working. And collection as well, though that's not actually coded out yet. So price shop, we can choose 1x, 2x, or maximum. Depending on how much gold we have and how much prize costs, we can just choose to buy however many prizes we want. So I'm going to buy 2 prizes here. And you can see it went into the log. I got an uncommon prize and a rare prize. It's actually a fairly good roll for my first try, right? And Prize Shop is like a system that is kind of on a parallel track with the central gacha system because prizes are gachas in themselves. It's just that the chase goal and the chase prize within the prize shop is different. The regional gachas are going to be, your players are going to be more focused on getting heroes. Prizes, I'm thinking, and we talked about this in the design document, prizes are going to be more focused on completing collections. And individual prizes themselves might be particularly useful in a variety of different ways, right? So I don't want it to be the case that a player has to wait until they've completely finished a collection to find value in the prize system. We want value coming from the system as soon as it's unlocked, right? And that's not something I have right now. Like the prizes I have are just temporary tchotchkes here. It's a thing, it's a rock. Fairly uninteresting. But I'm throwing around some ideas around prizes that provide bonuses and benefits in the same way like a relic would in a roguelike game. So yeah, that was our 20-minute playthrough of the early game of the prototype. I always intend to try to rush through it in 10 minutes, but just the way that the game's set up, it takes a little time to ramp up and get your heroes and get the game going. And even as I talk right now over the game, we're making some progress, right? Because we have our heroes automated here and grinding out resources for us. So, yeah, let's stop here for this part of the video and jump over to my notes and Visual Studio Code. So let me pull it up. Okay, so this is Visual Studio Code here. And we can maybe scroll through a couple of the sections of the script that I have. I wanted to talk through some of the notes. Sorry, I need to pull it open here. The notes that I had worked on last few weeks. So, in addition to playthrough notes that I had, I did work on a version of a design matrix, and this is based off of a design process where you sort of enumerate all of the different elements within the game and work through how each element or game system interacts with the other systems in the game, right? So we have the core systems of gacha, heroes, and prizes, and each of these main systems will have elements specific to them. And we can think of the game as a sort of like an interactive toy where these systems and these elements interact with each other, right? So things in gachas will interact interestingly with heroes and prizes and so on and so forth. So I worked through this design matrix as an exercise to try to be exhaustive about all the things that are going to be present in the game and to make sure that I'm connecting the dots from system to system in an interesting way, right? Um, so this is just an exercise that I went through. It helped me think more concretely about what I'm building. Just for example, like the questing system in the game feels very much like a interaction between gachas and heroes because you need heroes themselves to go to the quest, and the quests in turn are tied to certain regions and improvements in those regions, right? Because um, they give you the resources automatically through the quest progress. Another thing that I was thinking through while working on this was the feedback loop that we have in the incremental. This idea that as you gather resources and materials, that you can feed them to the system itself in order to accelerate the same way a feedback loop would send a signal back on itself and amplify. We have we have resources that we're feeding back into the system in order to buy upgrades, which amplify the speed at which that particular system runs, right? So that's where this feeling of exponential progress comes from in the incremental game. It's because you're taking the progress that you have and then feeding it back into the system to make that progress move even faster. And I've gone through many of the systems in the design to make sure that each system has enough elements in it to keep it interesting. Narrative was also a big talking point for this design matrix. I wanted narrative to interact with all the systems as well. And we're thinking of research as another system that touches everything else in the game, right? So there's certain systems that will, at a high level, just by the nature of how they work, interact across the entire game. And there's other systems that maybe are a little more focused and are targeted interactions where the most interesting things are with one particular element in the game. Okay, so that was my notes. I do have a to-do list. We don't need to go into that. And then, yeah, so like talking about the actual code here is probably not going to be as interesting because it's just really a prototype version that I'm building right now. So all the code here is quite messy. There's no strong architecture to how the prototype is being built. I'm just going in and linking together all the elements in the UI to the functions and the functional operation of the game mechanics here. There's a lot of copy and pasting in the code because I'm just trying to get the game system working so I can get a feel of how it works. What I can say is that we're reaching the 3.5K length of the gacha game C# script here. So it's getting quite unwieldy, but I do have everything separated into sections. So in this latest version, I have added a story section. Maybe let's just scroll through that really quickly here. Story section. Basically, couple of functions here. One by one, we're just tracking story progress through a number, like an integer. And for each checkpoint in the story progress, we're checking for a specific value, like a specific resource, or or whether or not a particular menu is visible or invisible, in order to trigger the next part of the story. And that basically is what happens here. We load the text for the story and then increment the story progress number, the index, to the next number. There's some branching here depending on which of two things you unlock first. So, for example, here, the player could unlock quests, or they could save up money and unlock the shop, right? So, given that there are two different things that can happen, I kind of branch it out here in a brute force manner. So we're not implementing any signals or events yet. But of course, once we get into the actual implementation of the game narrative system, that's going to be using more advanced tools. So here's how the story text is being stored. It's just an array of strings, and each array is specific to a story moment. I did write some intros for the character dialogue, but these aren't appearing in the prototype because they're not implemented. And then this is what the load story function looks like. I'm basically taking that text, displaying the screen, and then using the next line button to move from line to line. Once we reach the end of the thing, we close it all out and go back to the gameplay. So it's as simple as that. I just wrote it up very quickly in one day to get the narrative system working, so I get a feel for what it needs to be to feel good and polished in the final game. Prototype version is totally bare bones. Well, I'm gonna stop there. I hope you found this interesting. I think I'm making good progress towards finishing the prototype. There's 2 more systems that I want to work on. Maybe 3. There's the prize shops. I want to get some interesting interactions working with the collection of prizes and how they'll help accelerate the game progress. And the research and potentially the prestige system. So I'm thinking through, not really thinking through, but I'm planning to implement that in the prototype. And once those 3 systems are in, that will be sort of like the full early prototype of this game. And then I'm gonna start iterating and building the whole game out with proper systems, right? So I hope you found that interesting. Thanks for listening in today on this 34 minute talk. A lot of it was playing through that prototype, but I did want to show you how it felt, sort of in real time, how it felt to play the game. All right, so yeah, thanks for tuning in.